Hello, and welcome to the Crazy Knitter Studio podcast. My name is Kristen, also known as Crazy Knitting Fool on Ravelry, and I'm your hostess. Today is Saturday, December 9th, 2017, and this is episode 34, and I'm calling it Not Much Progress. So I would like to say hello to all new and returning viewers, and I would also like to say Happy Hanukkah to anyone out there who is celebrating. Hope you enjoy your 8 crazy nights. So, moving into the show. This is probably going to be short because, as the title says, there is not much progress. So, but I wanted to keep going, and I didn't want to skip recording this week when I was supposed to, so I can keep my momentum moving. So, it's probably going to be a short one. So moving into the starting lineups, the introductions. There's been no introductions in the last 2 weeks in the Ravelry group thread. So if you'd like a shout out on the show, just come over and introduce yourself and I'll give you one. So moving into presser, weeks in review. What has been going on around here? Well, one thing is I was going to the grocery store a couple weeks ago, getting the pop bottles. So those of you who don't have pop bottle deposits won't understand this, but here in Michigan, you pay when you buy pop, soda, soda pop, whatever you call it, you pay a 10-cent deposit for each bottle or can that you pay. And then you go back to the grocery store and they have these machines and you put them in and you get your 10 cents back. So, I was getting pop bottles together to take back, putting them in the trunk. I put my wallet on the roof of the car, closed the trunk, got in the car, drove off without grabbing my wallet. Got about halfway to the store, realized what happened, got pulled over into like a subdivision, got out, checked the trunk just to make sure that I didn't put it in the trunk. No. So drove all the way home, and of course, when you have something like that and you're trying to get somewhere in a hurry, you hit every red light and you're behind the slowest people driving on the road that day. So I got home, I pulled down our street, and there it is, sitting right in the middle of the street, open, face down, like this, but everything was still in it. Didn't look like it got run over. Even the receipts that were like kind of loose were still in there. So I was like, so that was fun. And then the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I went to leave to go pick up my prescription, and our door wouldn't lock. It locked from the inside, but wouldn't lock from the outside. So, of course, I couldn't go anywhere because my husband and my son weren't home yet. They had gone out of town for the weekend, and they weren't back yet, so it was a mess. So I had to work from home the next day because obviously I couldn't leave the house. Thankfully, I have a job where I can work from home sometimes. So I had to work from home, wait for the guy. And of course, it took the guy like 5 minutes to fix it once he got here. But it was just a mess. So that was 2 weeks ago. So that was the first bad thing that happened that week. My mom always said bad things come in threes. And in grand scheme of things, it's not really that big of a deal. Number 2 was a big deal. So 2 Wednesdays ago, we go to bed or get ready for bed, and I noticed one of our little guinea pig friends was not well. He was having very labored breathing. He was wheezing. When I picked him up, he kind of made a weird squeaky noise. He just was like standing in a corner, kind of just standing there. And the other one kept, going up to him and was like, trying to look like he was comforting him. It was really sad. So we went to bed that night, and I just was like, I just hope it can make it to the morning and we can get it to the vet. So I woke up about 1:30 and went to the bathroom. He was still alive, though really heavy breathing and everything. And then when I woke up at 5:30, he was gone. So we lost our little Hamlin. Little buddy, my man, was hysterical. He stayed home from school on Thursday because there was no way I was going to make him go to school. He was absolutely hysterical. So I called my boss, I explained the situation, and, thankfully she has kids, so she kind of understands. I was like, I need the morning to kind of take care of this, and then I'll log in from home in the afternoon. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? We can't bury it here. We live in a rental. I'm not going to just, everything I read online is like, well, if you can't bury it, just double bag it and throw it away. I'm not just throwing him away. He's not trash. I'm sorry. Even though we only had him 4 weeks, he wasn't trash. He was a loved animal. And that would traumatize my poor son even more. So I called PetSmart where we bought him, and I was like, explained the situation. I spoke with the manager. She was real nice. She was like, well, I guess we can do something for you. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, I don't know, divine intervention, whatever. I was like, the Humane Society. So I called the Humane Society, and they're like, yeah, if you don't want to do the private cremation where you get the ashes back, it's $15. We open at noon. Just come on in. I was like, okay, cool. So we got him ready. We put him in a shoebox and all this, and we go to leave. We were going to go to lunch, and we were going to go to Toys R Us and get him a cheer up gift and everything. As we're driving to the store, my low voltage battery light comes on. Third bad thing, the alternator in my car was dying. So we had to go home. My husband thankfully works like 10 minutes from home. He came home on his lunch, took it up to one of the, O'Reilly's, whatever. They checked the battery just to make sure it wasn't the battery. And I knew it wasn't because we just got a new one last year. So it wasn't the battery, so it was the alternator. So we had to have it towed and have it fixed and everything. So in the meantime, I have no car. The Humane Society's only open 12 to 4. So we had this guinea pig in our house for 2 days. He was in a little shoebox. The little man kept looking at him and crying. And he didn't go to school again on Friday because he didn't go to bed. He couldn't go to sleep until like 11 o'clock Thursday night. And then he woke up for like 2 hours in the middle of the night. I'm like, he's in 3rd grade. We're not learning rocket science here. So he stayed home Friday. I worked from home on Friday. I was going to have to anyway, even if he went to school because I didn't have a car. So anyway, I kind of explained to little man what cremation was, and, explained that this was really our only other option. Afterwards, I thought, well, I could have taken him out to my dad's house, but I'm going to drive an hour one way to bury a guinea pig. Like, sorry, no, not happening. So Saturday we get my car, we go out to lunch, and then we go to the Humane Society, and, I'm like, are you ready to say goodbye, buddy? And he's like, no, I'm not ready. I don't want to watch him burn. I'm like, what? I said, I don't want to watch him burn. I said, you think we have to watch? So for 2 days, this kid is thinking that he's going to have to sit and watch them burn his guinea pig. I'm like, no. Like, they don't even do it here. I was like, they send him out somewhere else. I'm like, we do not have to watch. All we have to do is go in, pay the fee. I didn't realize fill out like half ton of paperwork, which kind of makes sense now. They want to make sure you're not like bringing the animals in all the time and, because you're abusing them. But I was like, no. I felt so bad that for 2 days he thought he was going to have to watch his little guinea pig burn. He's still heartbroken. He still tells me all the time, a couple times a day, I miss Hamlin, and we're debating about whether we're going to get another one. I'm like, I don't know. So, we'll see. The other one seems fine. So, we're just giving him some extra love and attention, and he's okay. And he doesn't seem to be sick, so knock on wood, everything will be okay, because I don't think we could handle losing another guinea pig. I have not cried that much in a very long time. It was very emotionally exhausting. I'm like, and this is a guinea pig we've had for 4 weeks. I'm like, God forbid when it's a dog that we've had for 10 years. Okay, so moving on. So December 1st started our annual Advent tradition. So I started this when little man was 3. And I just want him to realize that Santa and gifts are great, but there's more to Christmas than that. So we do a different Advent activity, and he loves it. Like every day, he's like, "What's our?" I can't say how he says it. Our Advent. I just can't correct him. It's just cute. So we do a different little activity every day. So like the first, we went to the Polar Express thing at the library. We made ice cream on the 2nd. The 3rd, we put up our tree. What did we do on the 4th? Oh, we blew bubbles. The 5th, yeah, I don't remember. The 6th is St. Nicholas Day, so he got a little treat in his shoes, which was funny because when I went out the night before to buy the little treats to go in his shoes, I was leaving the store. Must not have had a good grip on the bag, and it's been extremely windy here for the last few days. It's actually, today we're getting our first, like, sticky snow. There's probably about maybe a dusting out there, but I'm sure once we go to run our few errands after I record this, it'll probably take us 20 minutes to go somewhere that should take us 5. But anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, the bag. So I'm walking out of the store. Must not have had a good grip on the bag. Gust of wind comes up, takes the bag, turns it inside out, takes everything, and like his little stuffed animal, his chocolate, his little Minecraft thing that I bought him are blowing down the parking lot. I'm in like my work shoes, so they're like heels like this. I'm not exactly in shape. I'm running down the parking lot trying to catch these things. There's a car coming, so I'm trying not to get hit by the car and hoping that he's not going to run over my stuff. Like, okay. It was, once I got all the stuff, got back in the car and caught my breath, it was hilarious. I was laughing pretty hysterically. I told my husband about it, and he just shakes his head because weird stuff like that happens to me all the time. But anyway, so we've been doing our Advent thing. Today is a candy cane hunt. I was going to do movie night, but he doesn't want to do movie night, so he likes the candy cane hunt. So it's basically an Easter egg hunt with candy canes. So we gotta go get candy canes because I was not prepared for this, but he loves it. He thinks it's fun, so I'll do it as long as he wants me to. And then the last thing is I did give my coworker her shawl. Unfortunately, she's been working from home. She pretty much has no immune system, so she really can't be around many people, especially this time of year with colds and flu and stuff. It's just not a good idea. So we have another coworker who is taking her work back and forth. So she went to see her on Tuesday, and she took the shawl to her, and she loved it, and she sent me an email, and it was very nice. I knew she would appreciate it because she's not really a crafty person, but she's the type of person who I knew she would appreciate it. And she was like, "I can't believe you did all that work for me." And I was like, "It was my pleasure." So she loved it, which made me happy. All right, so moving on into the knitting, which there is not much of. So first down, my one whip, is my Spartan blanket. It's the Hip to Be Square blanket pattern by Jennifer Bracchio. And it's size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Knit Picks Bravo worsted and Dublin and white for the green and white for the Spartans, for minis. This will be done for Christmas, so that's where I was. That's where I am. So, this much for 2 weeks. So I've decided, I've made the executive decision, I will finish this section of green, do one more section of white, and then it is done, and it needs to have the border put on. So, it will be done again in 2 weeks hopefully. No, it will be. Positive thinking. It will be done in 2 weeks when I record again. Because that's 2 days before Christmas, so better be done. All right, so touchdowns, obviously, that's the only thing I've worked on, so there's no finished objects. Turnovers, mistakes? No. None, so that's good. Training camp, future projects. Like I said in my last episode, I have another prayer shawl I want to make for my other coworker whose husband is in hospice care. And then I've decided I don't know if I'll get it done before the new year, or I could because I'm off a few days before New Year's, but with little man. But I'm going to go through and frog some of these really old works in progress that I've not touched in like 8 months since the beginning of this year. So clear off some things and go from there. All right, concessions, purchases. Nope, I haven't bought anything except Christmas presents. So it's that time of year. Film room, books, TV, etc. There is not much in the film room either. So I am still currently reading Today Matters by John C. Maxwell, and it's very interesting. I just finished the section on making your family your priority, and now I am into making your thinking a priority. So I like it. I also finished, since the last time, the Sweet Gum Knit Society by Beth Patillo. I really liked that book. I love knitting fiction. I love it. It's not the greatest literature in the world, but I love it. I like brain candy for the most part when I read. So there's a second book in the series, so I'm going to see if my library has that, and if they don't, we can always do interlibrary loan, but that probably won't be until after the new year. And then I also finished another book called, what was it called? Look Again by Lisa Scotoline. And this is a book about a woman. She's a journalist, and she's writing this story, and she finds this little boy who has been pretty much abandoned by his parents in the cardiac intensive care unit. So she ends up adopting him, and it's like 2 years later, so he's 3 now. And she gets one of those little flyers in the mail, that we all get, that you don't think anything about, like, have you seen this child? And it's a missing child, and it looks just like her son. Being the journalist, of course, she has to she just can't let it go. So she has to figure out, and it was a pretty interesting book. There was one little twist I didn't see coming, and then there was another one that I did see coming. But I liked it. It was really good. So, and then right now I am reading Commonwealth by Anne Patchett. And I just started this. I'm about 60 pages in. And it's a story of this girl, and her father is a cop, and at her christening party, the assistant district attorney shows up, and he's uninvited. He just shows up because he doesn't want to be at home with his wife and his kids. And he ends up kissing her mother, and then, like, haven't quite gotten to how the two families are broken up, but then the mom and this guy end up getting married, and they move to Virginia, and it's eventually, I guess the daughter meets an author, and he writes this best-selling novel based upon her family story. So, I don't know. It's all right. Seems interesting. So that's it. I haven't watched any other movies or anything like that. I wanted to do movie night tonight, but I guess we're not doing that. I haven't even watched any Christmas specials, which is kind of unusual. I need to figure out when they're on. I always like Mickey's Christmas Carol. That's always my favorite. So, gotta find out. That's always on, it's not ABC Family anymore, but can't remember what it's called now, but Freeform, I think. But they always have it on. Okay, so we're less than 20 minutes in, and we're at the wrap-up. So, post-game wrap-up. You can contact me on Ravelry. I'm Crazy Knitting Fool. On Twitter, it's Crazy Knit Fool. Instagram, it's Crazy Knitter Studio. The blog is crazyknitterstudio.blogspot.com, and the email address is crazyknitterstudio@gmail.com. The next episode should be in 2 weeks, which is December 23rd. Again, 2 days before Christmas. So the blanket should be either finished completely or very, 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 very close to being finished. It has to be wrapped Christmas Eve to go to my dad's house on Christmas Day to be given to my niece. So, again, I hope everybody who celebrates has a good Hanukkah. I hope everybody has a good winter solstice that's coming up. I think when is that? The 21st? When the light starts coming back. Yay! And until then, as I always say, What do I always say? How do I say? Losing my mind. Okay. Be good. But if you can't be good, just don't get caught. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.